Oh, hey. Hey, what's up, peeps? Hey, look, I'm glad you guys stopped by because I've got some important information that I want to share with you about a super initiative that we've just launched in the community and we need your help. So, the Listening Communities Voice Equity Project. Now, this project is super important and I want to tell you why. So, as we continue to steer our way out of the eventfulness of 2020, many organizations are starting to focus on racial equity. And there's also a lot of monies that are being directed into our neighborhoods to support that work, right? But it is our position that any work that is directed at impacting change in our communities, that work must be driven by the leadership, participation, and the voice of the members and residents of those communities, right? So essentially this project is a survey, right? But it is not your traditional survey with 50 million questions. This survey only asks you 2 questions. But as you answer these 2 questions, there are a few things that I want you guys to have in mind as you think about your answer to these questions, right? Now, those things I want you to be thinking about are things like recreation and entertainment. Right? We know that if a community or neighborhoods doesn't have adequate recreation or cultural entertainment, then there are opportunities for adults to go out and lead what we call pro-social and active lifestyles, right? If you're just sitting in the house all the time, not with nothing to do, that is very easy for depression to creep in and for us to start to deal with things, right? So we know we've got to have recreation and cultural entertainment for our adults, right? We also need social services. We want you to be thinking about social services because that includes things like AFDC food stamps and WIC for young families, low-income families, or we know we've got a lot of single-parent family households in our communities, right? So social services are extremely important, right? Childcare is also included in social services. And you know, if a new family or a young family can't get access to childcare, then they can't go to work to feed their families, right? So social services are extremely important. We want you to be thinking about housing, right? Is there affordable housing options in your neighborhood? And if there are affordable housing options, what are the living conditions like in those places? How are the landlords, right? What's housing like in your neighborhood, right? We want you to be thinking about health. Now, we know we've got a large health system here in this area. We are by far a health community in this area, but some communities in some states and some areas are fortunate enough to have community clinics positioned right inside their neighborhoods so that those residents can access the medical needs or the clinical needs right there in the neighborhood where they live, right? So we want you to be thinking about health. We also want you to think about education, and the same thing goes. We know we've got a large education system, but some communities are fortunate enough to have additional educational resources to address the unique educational needs that arise at the neighborhood level, right? We want you to be thinking about economic opportunity. Are there job skills training courses? Is there a bulletin board in your neighborhood where jobs are posted for you to go and look and find job opportunities, right? Are there small business grants, small business information that is made readily accessible to the members of your communities who might want to start new businesses or who want to grow their businesses, right? So we want to think about economic opportunity. We want you to think about safety and criminal justice. Look, do you feel like you, your children, your family members are safe when you go outside your door and venture into your neighborhoods? And on the other side of that safety coin, we want to also talk about criminal justice, right? The resources that we use to promote safety in our neighborhoods, right? Essentially law enforcement, policemen. How are the policemen behaving, interacting, and engaging in your neighborhoods? We want you to be thinking about that. We want you to think about youth activities, youth recreation. We know if our young people don't have positive things to be involved in, then that oftentimes leads to juvenile delinquency or all sorts of issues with our youth, right? So youth recreation is extremely important. We want you to think about political representation. Do you know who your representatives are? Are they coming out into your neighborhoods to introduce themselves to you, avail themselves to you, do outreach and engage with you so that they can hear from you, right? To make sure that your voice is informing their decisions, right? That's what we're here to do with this project. But we also want you to think about public service, trash pickup, noise ordinances, right? Code enforcement, right? Are there tons of boarded up houses and houses kept in poor conditions where codes aren't being enforced, right? Public services also includes public transportation. Are your bus routes adequate to get you to and from your jobs or from your homes or other resources, right? We want you to be thinking about all of these things when you answer these questions. Now, again, I'm asking you to take a moment to take this survey, but I'm talking to specifically neighborhoods like the historic West Green. That's going to be that area around West 5th Street, West 3rd Street, Vance Street, Douglas Avenue, Fleming Street, right? All those areas in between and around there. We're also talking about the historic Midtown area of West Greenville. That's that area around West 14th Street, Chestnut, Myrtle Avenue, Paris Avenue, Manhattan Street, right? All those areas in between and around there. That's that historic Midtown, or some people call the Higgs neighborhood, in that area, right? Also, we're talking about the historic South Side. That's Kearney Park, KP, Glendale Court, Hopkins. Also talking about Southwest Greenville, over there where our Kristen Drive and Tobacco Road neighborhoods are. We're also talking about Sterling Point, South Square, Sheraton Village over on Landmark, Cambridge over in Williamsburg Manor, right? That area. We're also talking about Meadowbrook, Moywood, Dubber Laney, Old River Road if you're over the river. Who else are we leaving out? Pecan Grove, Barrett Place, Summer Place. All of those particular neighborhoods, right? And there's a list of them inside the survey. But again, if you live in or are connected to any one of those neighborhoods, we really need to hear from you. And if you know people that live in or are connected to those neighborhoods, we want you to send this link to them, because we need to hear from the residents of these neighborhoods. But if you don't have access to internet, or if you don't have the means to type your answers into that survey, then what I want you to do is be on the lookout for team members that are going to be wearing this NC Civil t-shirt. They'll be going into each one of those neighborhoods that I just mentioned. Some of those neighborhoods we've already been in over the past few weeks. Maybe some of you guys have seen this, but you'll see team members wearing these t-shirts. You'll see the NC Civil tent. You'll probably see us cooking out and sitting back having fun. You might see team members walking around your neighborhood. They may walk up to you and ask you graciously to participate in this survey. And I am humbly asking if you would please treat my team members nice, and if you would please take a moment to complete that survey. And again, I want to thank you guys so much. And as always, I love you guys. Jermaine McNair, signing out.